Hey guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome to the final episode of this series. So trust you me, this is the third time I am filming this video just because I felt the first two attempts weren't good enough. There was a problem with what I was wearing, so I've decided to do this all over again, and I also just want to include a bit more information on this last video. So yeah, so the second episode goes tomorrow, and I thought I should just film today and conclude my study abroad story. So after I had submitted the hard copy application, it was just a waiting game, and basically a waiting for the university and the faculty to review my application and then get back to me. And they did review it, and in January they got back to me and they told me that I had been admitted to the program. It was one of the best days ever. I was so excited, and they told me they were to send my application letter, which they didn't send immediately. I had to send an email back to them to remind them to send. They had sent one in poster, but then I needed like an online one. So I got the letter, and the letter is then what you now use to start your visa application process. And for the visa application process, you need to do things very early in advance because it could take some time. So it's always safe that once you get your admission numbers, your admission letter, start pushing and pressing for the visa application process. The visa also costs a lot of money. For instance, there's some, I think 350 euros you must pay to a bank account in Belgium in order for them to be able, I think, to administrate whatever. And then you also need to pay 200 euros for a medical checkup, and this medical checkup is just to confirm that you're in good health and that you're healthy, and when you go there it won't bring any problems. And then this is only done by a specific doctor that the embassy recognizes, and the results are not even sent to you. They are sent to him. They're sent to the embassy directly, so you don't even get to know how the results go. And then also the visa itself, because you're going to be studying for a while, it's a long stay visa, so it's much more expensive than the tourism type visa. So you also need to be prepared for that, and things like travel insurance, things like the flight. So all these things need to be done in advance and just on the safe side. And I think the earlier the better, because if you start looking at flights earlier, chances are that you might save a bit here and there, because let's be real, studying abroad, especially in Europe, is not the most affordable thing. So you need to try and be as organized as possible to ensure that you save some coins and also the process works for you. So yeah, additionally, I would also like to say that as you're applying, like for instance in the university I applied to, at the point of application you are asked if you need scholarship in the particular course that you're doing, but you also need to know that scholarships, they are not normally available for all courses also, and also all students. There are certain criteria that you have to pass. For instance, maybe you have to be a very high performing student in order for you to be considered, but there are some other really nice scholarship, and I think one of them is Erasmus Mundus for Belgium, but the only limitation is that they are for certain specific courses, so they are not like for my course, it wasn't listed as one of them. Additionally, there are also some independent organizations that offer scholarships, and you must also always be online trying to check and seeing where you can be able to get a scholarship. For instance, I have always checked. I've not been lucky so far, but I still keep checking. And also, if you also get admitted while you're in school, there are also possibilities of you getting a grant to enable you to apply for everything there. And I think I've covered most of the things. or something else, housing, because if you're gonna study abroad, you have to take care of where you're going to be studying at least before you leave the country, because then where would you be going? So like for me, I'm lucky enough, I have relatives in Belgium, so that's a bit easier for me. But then also where I'm gonna be studying, I also need to look for some accommodation. So I'd suggest maybe try and look for housing groups, in co-housing arrangement groups in Facebook, and also studio like hostels and stuff like that, organizations. And also the cheapest option normally is for you to apply directly to the university accommodation. But then again, I try to do that, but because I'm over a certain age, I could only get an apartment because I'm much older. I think the studios are only available to maybe people who are less than 24, 26, thereabouts. So there are also things to look at, and maybe sometimes some of these places you need to pay like rent for a year in advance. So those are things that you also need to pay attention to. But anyway, I hope this series has helped you in one way or another. And if you're planning to study abroad, I hope that your plans work out just exactly as you have conceived them. For me, for my journey, I think for me, I just saw a lot of God in it. I saw a lot of favor in it, and I'm always very grateful. And even though things have not always worked out perfectly at first, sometimes you look at things back in hindsight and you're like, anyway, I'm glad things worked out the way they did. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching this video. Please remember to subscribe to my channel. If you have any suggestions of any videos that you may want to see from me, please let me know down in the comment section below, and I'll see you in my next video. Toodles.